Hello, everybody. Welcome to Both Sides of the Conversation. I'm John Henry. Today is our Educational Thursday segment. Unfortunately, the guest that we had tonight that we're going to do our educational presentation on marketing was traveling on the road, having some problems with connectivity issues. So we're going to reschedule and get them on tonight. We'll replay our previous hidden gem segment on financial literacy with Miss Cynthia and Sean, as Cynthia will be coming back on next Thursday. But I don't know if everybody heard, there's been like cyber attacks all across the country today. A lot of apps, Cash App, Amazon, a lot of the networks went down for a short time today. I know there was a bunch of cybersecurity updates and things that was happening. I know Apple had a update as well today, and some of the other cellular devices. I know my Wi-Fi all over San Francisco today was having problems. The phone, when I was using my phone for apps. So definitely the cybersecurity issue is getting real. I know I talked about this weeks ago. I know the national security people was on the news talking about how the greatest threat to America right now is cybersecurity, ransomware, and things like that. And it's continuing to happen, and it's happening more. So just be cautious. I know a lot of people was calling me, man, I can't do certain things on my phone. I guess it was a big security breach with cybersecurity, or maybe a spamware attack that kind of knocked out some of the apps today. So, there you go. We're going to have Vanessa Russell come on in a couple of weeks and educate the community about IT security, how to get into that industry. She's going to be teaching a class, and her organization, they help people get in there. As you guys heard her from last Sunday say that there's 2 million jobs in cybersecurity. A lot of money can be made in it. That is the wave of technology. And right now, it's been a lot of attacks on America when we're dealing with cybersecurity. So just wanted to put that out there. The other thing I wanted to definitely talk about today is the uptick in the COVID cases across the Bay Area, across California, across the country. The increased numbers are rising. I was on a meeting, and the doctors are really showing the numbers are going. So we're going to continue to encourage people to get out there, get vaccinated, to help out. And yes, I know a lot of people complain is if you get vaccinated, you still could catch COVID. Yes, that's true. And we're hoping to get, some of the health professionals to come on and have a Sunday conversation, and also do some education on the vaccination and what's going on with the virus. So I got a couple conversations that's coming up. We're going to get some of them health professionals on here to help community better understand. I know in the media and social media, there's been a lot of misinformation going out, the message about a lot of what's going on when we're talking about COVID and this new strand, the Delta variant. But we're going to get some of these people to come on our platform, help educate community, do some outreach. There's a number of pop-up places that are happening where you could go get vaccinated for free. I know some people have misinformation on, like, where is it free, or did you have to talk to your healthcare provider? So there's a number of sites in the community that are offering free vaccination. So we're going to get that information out. I put some out last week. But we're going to continue to help get that information. We're going to use our platform to help get information out to the community. And unfortunately, community, the numbers that I was seeing from this meeting is the Black and brown community is still being impacted the highest, especially our young 12 to 35-year-olds. So we're going to have to do a little education. Some people are going to still fight it. But one of the doctors today said, the unfortunate things, they've had patients come in there dying on their deathbed. And once they were dying, they was asking to get the vaccination. You can't do that. So hopefully people will be proactive. It doesn't work once you catch the virus. You got to get it before. I took it. I'm fully vaccinated. But yeah, there's still potential that you could catch it. It's just the amount of hospitalization and what you will be affected by will definitely be impacted if you have the vaccination or not. So just wanted to get that out there. And then in the world announcement today, the big three large drug distributors, they reached a landmark $26 billion opiate settlement. As you all know, this country was hit with the opiate crisis. I wish they did the same thing for the crack epidemic and a lot of the things that impacted the Black community, and we missed that. But definitely on Wednesday, it was a $26 billion settlement revolving Johnson & Johnson, McKesson, Cardinal Health, and AmerisourceBergen, the three large pharmaceuticals who was behind the opiate crisis. Johnson & Johnson will only pay $5 billion. The other two companies will pay $21 billion and 35 from the other companies. So as you guys see, with the opiate crisis, that settlement happened. So those families that were impacted, the substance abuse treatment centers definitely be getting some of that money. I'm sure the insurance company from the people that was impacted by it. I don't know how it's all going to go out into the community. But again, when the black epidemic happened with crack, didn't see these type of settlements, and we know where that stems from. But in San Francisco, Mayor Breed proposed to create a street overdose response team. As you all know, here in San Francisco and across this country, fentanyl has been a problem. People have been dying left and right with fentanyl and different drug overdoses, including opiates. But the mayor here in San Francisco is setting up a response team to help it. As you all know, it's been a skyrocketing, events when it comes to this overdose. In our streets of San Francisco, you people see it, you out there, not only just the homelessness and our veterans, you see that the substance abuse is big. I think they recorded about 700 people have lost their lives in San Francisco to fentanyl overdose last year. It is an all-time high since the opiate crisis. So again, substance abuse is real. We're going to be having a conversation in a couple of weeks about substance abuse. Very important theme, but shout out to Mayor Breed for going ahead and creating this street overdose response team so people could get services and support out there. If you've been to San Francisco, you've been around the Bay Area, some of these streets in the Tenderloin and different places, you can see the fentanyl abuse, you can see the drugs and substance abuse. So it's just great to have the mayor stepping up, putting money in there to kind of combat some of the substance abuse that's taking place in San Francisco. When it's referring to, fentanyl and things of that nature, and opiates. So very, very important stuff. The proposed law will definitely we got another thing that's going on with mental health that's being pushed by Supervisor Asha over in District 11 to have paramedics have the ability to impose mental holds on people. We know sometimes the police get involved, people get killed, different things happen. So with the new crisis response team and giving the paramedics these rights, sometimes they could put people on a 72-hour hold. It's things happening, but these 5150 holds is going to be taking place by paramedics. Sometimes people are in crisis, they are in situations, and it takes somebody who's, not in that state to make that type of decision. So shout out to Supervisor Asha for getting that passed. And definitely you all be seeing people in the community and doing this work. Trying to get the people that has mental health the services they need. Sometimes they have the need and they don't want to get the services, but putting that in place will definitely give some of the medical professionals an opportunity to actually help those people. The market, the farmers market, we're going to do a thing on the farmers coming up soon, but in the Bay Area, about 100 farmer markets that participate in the Market Watch. If you see CalFresh, WIC, or participating organizations that use their foods, they're going to be giving out a lot more to the community. We'll be submitting their links to our websites to help get that information. As you all know, here in the Bay Area, there's a housing crisis, there's a financial crisis. I'm not sure if people saw it. The amount of families that are being impacted financially. The GDP is up, but the wages here in the Bay Area are not moving as fast as the GDP, and it is impacting our communities. So there's a lot of more services, food services, and financial support services to help people with rent, different things. That's just going to be helping community, and this market is going to be one of them to get fruits and things like that to our community. As we know, the cost to live in the Bay Area is high. In California, it is high, and people are falling behind. They did a widespread look, and county by county, people are just struggling to make it, just to make the basic ends meet. And we're starting to see not only the uptick in crime, just more and more petty crimes happening, more robberies, burglaries, things are happening in the community. Also, there's been a big increase in car break-ins and gasoline. I even had gasoline siphoned out of my vehicle. So please lock your gas caps, lock your gas in the car. As you all know, here in the Bay Area, the gas is reaching $5 a gallon. Some places $4.99, $5 a gallon already. So people are becoming desperate. The cost of gas is going up. Every time things go up and your pay don't, it really puts people in financial ruin. And sometimes people take a risky chance that they normally wouldn't take just to try to survive. So people are really starting to get into survival mode and taking risks that they might not normally take. So just be careful. The car break-ins and up. Make sure you remove all your valuables. Try to not leave car chargers and glasses and things like that on the seat. Try to get your change out. I know a lot of time we like to keep that change in there so that we can just run in the store and grab things when we need it. But you don't want to have your car broken into for $5 worth of change. It happens so frequently here in the Bay Area. So just be mindful while you're out there. Try to keep the things that you have in your car kind of hidden away, cleaned out, so that when people are looking and browsing through cars, you don't become a victim of these car break-ins, as well as this gas. I know it's happening rapid around the Bay Area. People are telling me, man, I filled my gas up. I came out of the house the next day and my gas was at a half a tank or less. So it's definitely happening. I mean, this happened like in the early 80s, 90s, where people were siphoning gas, and it seemed like it's coming back around. History repeats itself as the money gets tight in our communities. Again, people will take desperate measures to do things that they would typically not do. So be on the lookout for that and just be mindful. Ladies out there, be vigilant. We've had an uptick of women being robbed at our malls, looking in your trunk, texting. Please be careful out there, especially when you're going into the house at night by yourself. As we start coming out of summer, time going back an hour, it's going to get dark earlier. Ladies, be careful. So many more cases are popping up of women being assaulted, robbed, and things of that nature. So be safe out there. And then this Sunday, we're going to have another Sunday conversation. We're going to be talking with our educators. We've got a couple of them that's going to be coming back to talk about what's going back to school looking like for our community kids and for our families. They're going to give us some of the information, some of the strategies that some of the teachers and school districts are implementing for families. The mask wearing, things about COVID, sick. So hopefully we'll be able to get a lot of these questions answered this Sunday. So if you are available, please tune in, or you can watch the replay on our YouTube channel. But this Sunday should be a powerful conversation with the educators. We could kind of hear from them and ask questions about some of the tools and things that they're putting in place to help families as our young people start transitioning back to school for the school year. And then next Tuesday, we'll have another segment of Hidden Gems, and we'll just continue to move on. Prayers out to the sister who was supposed to come on tonight. I know it's been trouble getting Wi-Fi because of those cyber attacks as they are traveling on the road. So we just wish them safe travels, and we'll be looking forward to rebooking them to get them on to come teach our community about marketing and strategies that we can use. As we know, there's been an increase of Black businesses and brown businesses popping up and entrepreneurship as a whole. So definitely we're going to get them to come back on. And then tonight, we're going to go ahead and replay a previous financial literacy video with Sean and Cynthia. So tonight is a replay. Some people might have not seen it, but go ahead, take a look at this video. Any questions, please reach out to us. There is a number of backpack giveaways, things that we're going to be doing out in the community, a number of organizations collaborating together to help the families as we do transition. Please follow us on our social media handles, on our Facebook, our Instagram, where we'll be passing out those digital flyers, making sure that community are informed what's going on, where we at, and how we'll be helping impact the community with backpacks, paper, pencil, tools, and resources. There's a lot of programming that's coming out in the city of San Francisco and across the Bay Area, and we're going to do our part to help make sure that we get the information out to community. So please follow us. Check us out on our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, as we'll be putting those flyers and that information out. So if you are one of those families that are being impacted by these financial woes that are happening, we'll be able to help get that information to you so you can get the backpacks. If you need school clothes or whatever it is, there's going to be a lot of organizations doing things to help impact the community as we transition back to school. So again, thank you all for tuning in. Again, we're going to play a replay tonight. Last minute, our guests were not able to have Wi-Fi connection. As everybody knows, some people might have experienced it. There was cyber attacks that happened today. A lot of networks went down. I know Apple did a security update. and trying to get in front of it. A lot of the apps didn't work. Cash App, Amazon, a lot of them. Again, the cybersecurity is real. The national they came on and talked about it. So just be prepared and be mindful that these things are happening. We are being attacked left and right. So it definitely impacted us today, and we hope them sisters will be okay, and we'll get them back on as soon as possible. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and close my mouth. Oh, please go to our YouTube as well. We just put up the Juneteenth videos from the Juneteenth. Go check out some of the events that we've been doing in the community on our YouTube. Like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and definitely some phenomenal information on there as well. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and replay a financial class that happened a couple of weeks ago for community who missed it, and then we'll end out tonight's Educational 30, and we'll be back on our normal next week.
Both sides of the conversation, family. We welcome you to this virtual space crafted especially for you. My name is Jada Curry, and I'm Both Sides of the Conversation's marketing director and graphics design specialist. I want to take some time to ground us all as a community into this space we are about to open up in, so let's go through our community standards. Both Sides of the Conversation is providing a safe and honest space for open conversation, so we ask that you all be respectful of that. We also ask that you be respectful of each panelist, host, and participant. We do encourage healthy debates and conversations. Don't personalize anything with anyone. This includes name-calling, bullying, trolling, or shaming. This will not be allowed or tolerated. Your perspective is yours. It is not a prescription. You do not have to agree, but show respect. These community standards apply to all of our live shows and any virtual spaces that we hold on social media, including YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We want to make sure that we are caring for each other as a community. This is our priority in all of our endeavors as both sides of the conversation. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's show and continue to stay in touch with us via YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or all of them. All right, thank you for listening and see you soon.
Welcome everybody to Both Sides of the Conversation. I'm John Henry, Executive Director. Today is Thursday, so you all know what that means. This is our Educational Thursday segment where we will continue to intentionally educate our community, and we're going to have some phenomenal guests tonight that's going to come on and educate our community about investment, saving for our kids' future. I think this is very important information for all of us in community as we continue to push financial literacy in our community, and it starts with individuals like Sean and Cynthia today, that's going to come give our community the information, the game, and the sauce, the information we need. So with that being said, we're going to jump into a couple of community announcements, and then we're going to jump in tonight's presentation. One, I don't know if some of you all may have heard, we just had a 5.9 earthquake here outside of Nevada into the Bay Area. People from Stockton was calling me, did y'all feel it? Did y'all feel it? So we got a good shaker that happened this evening. So hopefully everybody is safe. Hopefully it wasn't any major damage or any things of that nature. But with that being said, that is a great reminder. I'm going to take a second here just to remind community that we are in California. Earthquakes are coming at any time, and we need to be prepared. So family members out there watching tonight, is a good time to sit down, come up with a family plan with your family, talk to your young people. If something happened, if we lose communication, where's your meeting spot going to be? Whether it's at the school, at the fire department, at the police department, at the courtyard, at the park, whatever it is, have those conversations, because we never know when the big shaker is going to come here in California. So we want to be ready. Make sure that you have your batteries. Go check your portable radios. Make sure you got your flashlight. I know sometimes we leave our flashlights on the shelf for 3, 4, 5 months. The batteries are dead. Let's go ahead and start thinking about it. Let's go in the garage, take those flashlights out, make sure that those batteries are fresh, make sure our radios are good, make sure we have a case of stock water laying around, and things of that nature, crackers, canned goods. We never know what's going to happen. Emergency preparedness is very, very important for the community. You never know. We just saw what happened in Florida, where the building collapsed. People were trapped. If we have a major earthquake here, there's always that possibility that structures could collapse. You might be pinned or you might be stuck in the area, but if you have that water and that food, that might get you through until first responders get there. We know what happened in 1989. It was a long time before some of our first responders was able to get out to a lot of the homes and things of that nature. So be prepared. We always want to be proactive here at both sides of the conversation. We don't want to be reactive, because when we're reactive, a lot of times tragedy happens. So we want to be prepared. With that being said, also for everyone here in California, Governor Newsom put out the email today. They're trying to voluntarily get the communities to start reducing their water reduction by 15%. Please, community, let's take this seriously. Let's work together in solidarity. Let's be mindful how long we're taking showers. We water in our yards, washing our cars, things of that nature, letting the water run. We are definitely in a real shortage of water here. We just got an announcement that the weather for the East Bay and beyond this weekend is going to be well over 100 degrees. So every time we have a hot day like this week coming up, the water usage is going to just keep evaporating, getting short. So everybody out there, let's do our part as community. Let's work together. Be mindful when we see our little kids running. Me too. I tell my little grandbaby when she's in there brushing her teeth, letting the water run while she's brushing her teeth, turn the water off, turn the water off. So let's just all do our part because it is serious right now. It is voluntary. We don't want to get into the point where it's becoming restrictive and we're dealing with blackouts when it comes to the water. Our elders in the community need it. Our people with disabilities, a lot of times they need that service, that water service. So we want to make sure that we don't impact them. So let's not be selfish. Let's work together and just be mindful of our water usage as we continue to move forward. With that being said, one more announcement. We know the COVID has rolled out. The California state has opened up. We have been getting numbers of more COVID cases happening. Please, everybody, be safe out there. I know people are taking a mask off. A lot of the buildings are starting to let people remove their masks. But when you're in crowded spaces, try to be mindful. If you won't use your mask and try to save distance a little bit. We just don't want to get back into full lockdown mode. I know at the state capitol, they're forcing all those people now to wear masks back in the building. So let's just be mindful. We're not all the way out of it. We're looking good. I know people are out enjoying the good weather and having a good time. We've seen the 4th of July, people are barbecuing and everybody's out. But let's just be mindful that we're not there yet. We're not 100% clear. And we just want to make sure that we safe. With that being said, for everybody joining tonight on YouTube, please use the live chat function. I'll try to do a better job of announcing. Some people was having trouble getting the comments in the chat. If you want to interact with the panelists tonight, ask questions, go to our YouTube, both sides of the conversation, use the live chat function, and you'll be able to ask your questions or put your comments in there, and we'll see them. The ones that's going on in Facebook and different places, we won't be able to get them up there. So if you have something pertinent that you want to ask, please switch over, go to our YouTube. and use the live chat function, and we'll get you on. We'll get your question on. And these two phenomenal guests tonight, I know they'll answer your questions that's needed. With that being said, this Sunday we will have another powerful conversation. We're going to be talking about toxic masculinity. Should be a powerful conversation. Looking for all the community to chime in, have questions. I know a lot of parents that they want to see how the conversation is going to play out with the young people. I'm gonna just tell you, this is going to be one of those conversations. I don't know. I'm gonna try to keep it in a good place. But we have some amazing facilitators that's going to come on and help facilitate the conversation. They have phenomenal backgrounds and making sure that the important parts and the things that we need to get out of this conversation will be had, and we will have it. And then this Tuesday, we'll jump right back into our Hidden Gem segment, where we will continue to highlight and uplift our Black and brown businesses, provide this platform to them to come on, promote their business to community, so that everyone out there know where they at, their hours of services, and how to connect with them. And as well as we will highlight our community leaders and people that are doing things to positively impact our community. A lot of changes happening, a lot of things. I know people are asking both sides of the conversation. We are continuing to grow. We have more volunteers, different people coming on to help do different things. So it's taking some time, but things are happening. We're moving forward. We're going to keep pushing. And we need all of the support from the community, and we need sponsorship. We need people to help us. As you all know, Black media and brown media is something that is very, very minute in the media world. So we definitely want to make sure that we keep a space where we could come and have our conversations, uplift our people, and do some of the things that we've been doing, and make it definitely enhance for the community. So we are still looking for sponsors. We are a nonprofit. If you're looking for a place where you can have a tax deductible financial place, we are one of the places that you can have a tax deductible donation. So with that being said, I'm going to close my mouth now. I think I've spoken enough, and I'm going to go ahead and bring up tonight's educational presentators. They have been here before. They always do a phenomenal job of making sure community gets the information the right way. And they definitely are patient and will answer all of our questions. So I will bring them up to the platform to introduce themselves to community, and then we will let them go ahead and take over and jump into tonight's Educational Thursday. Welcome again, Cynthia and Sean. You all are looking very, very phenomenal tonight, and I know the information you're going to bring to the community is going to be great. So thank you all for coming back to bless the community again, to share the information, that knowledge of financial literacy, helping our families in the community find a way to invest and save for their children's future, because we know we can't be relying on scholarships, and we can't be relying on government assistance. We have to take accountability as parents and community leaders and grandparents like myself, and make sure that we are properly investing in our children's future. So with that being said, thank you all. Introduce yourself to the public, and then we'll jump into your presentation tonight.
Thank you, John. Thank you. I really appreciate you. And so my name is Cynthia, and I just want to share a little bit about me. I went to San Francisco State University. I've gotten my bachelor's in psychology and La Raza Studies under the Ethnic Studies Department. I've also got my master's in social work. And, you know, currently I'm a financial wellness coach as well. So, and I work with individuals, you know, who are really looking to find out more about financial literacy, since we weren't taught that in school. I have over 20 years experience. I started working when I was 14. Yeah, that was just yesterday. But, and I've been working in a lot of nonprofits and doing volunteer work at the Mission Hub as well. And so my heart is big for the community. And as I am Peruvian as well and bilingual, and, you know, I am a Latina woman in the financial field. And, you know, I just want to create trust for our community and connection that's needed for changing the face of the financial industry. So I'm really excited to be here. And my vision is to break the cycle of poverty and create generational wealth for the Black and brown community. And that starts with all of us. And so I'm just really excited to be here. So thank you. And I'll let Sean now introduce himself.
Thank you, Cynthia, and thank you so much, John Henry, and both sides of the conversation. It's definitely a pleasure to be back here. Again, my name is Sean Johnson, and born and raised here in the Bay Area. Grew up on the coast, literally born in San Francisco. And from the time I was a little kid, I started doing the volunteer work and just doing anything I could to be involved in the community. And that's progressed from volunteering at the library to becoming an Eagle Scout to still volunteering over a Glide, which I got to get back more now because now that things eased up a little bit. But just being able to be out there in the community has been so rewarding to me, and I love the opportunity to be able to go out there and see the impact that we can have by being part of events like this, by being able to have conversations with people that a lot of times just kind of they're difficult to have, or people don't know how to start them. But the real goal here is to bridge that massive wealth gap that exists in this country these days. And we all have access to the knowledge, but especially those of us in the Black and brown communities, we need to come together. We need to lift each other up and continue to talk and share the knowledge and not be afraid to come up and say, hey, you know what? I'm dealing with life too. I'm not sure which direction to go. And there's a ton of people out here that are willing and able to support each other. So definitely look forward to chatting with everybody tonight and bringing some value. And like John said, please, any questions you have, go ahead and open up and ask, and we'll be happy to answer anything we can. John?
All right. Thank you all. Go ahead and pull up your presentation and you all can jump into it.
Great. Thanks. So I want to share a little bit about why I started to do what I do. Back in 2018, my father passed away, and life-changing experiences make for life-changing decisions. And it's when I realized that my father passed away. He didn't have a living trust in place. He didn't have life insurance. My mother lost his pension plan, and she already had lost her 401k. So I realized, that I need to do something. And luckily, my cousin, Sandy Mancini, who is wonderful, and I work really close with her now. And there's a lot of things that we haven't planned as well. But she reached out to me, and I needed to figure out things out because I am also a mother. You can see these pictures here. And I have 3 children. And my father, as a child and as a grown-up child, would always want to talk to me about money. And, there's just so many things that come to mind right now as when as he would speak to me all the time, he would say those things, money doesn't grow on trees, or I'm broke. And those beliefs really stayed with me. And there was a lot of uncomfortableness about talking with money. And because I was quote unquote college educated, he used to ask me how much money I used to make, and I didn't want to talk about it. And I didn't want to talk about it because I felt bad that, he said, I know you make more money than me. And I said, no, I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. Money doesn't matter. And I didn't want to talk about it. And, after he passed away and I realized all these things, I know what he was trying to tell me, that money does matter. And it doesn't matter, like it's not the end all do all, but it makes a difference in your life. And I think that's what my dad was always trying to tell me. But because of the beliefs I were already carrying in my head that, my parents, because he was the one that used to say that, like, money doesn't go on trees. So there's a lot of fear behind money. There's not enough. That I decided I wanted to do something different after learning about my own situation. And so I'm just really excited to be here to be able to share that, because my dad was a hard worker, and he had that picture in the middle of him with all that money. And, he worked for Kaiser for 46 years. He was one of the last people probably working those many years. And, it's just like he was just a very good hard worker, and he was always there for us. And he definitely always showed me unconditional love. And so, and there goes our family, our big family that we have that continues to grow as well. Because I'm Mama Cynthia, I'm a grandma, and I have grandchildren too. And so one of the main important things is now that I know what I know, I have to keep sharing with others. So just really happy to be here, and we can keep going. Thanks, Sean.
So for me, again, being in the community is huge, but as much as I love the community, I love my family even more. And especially when it comes to leaving that legacy and being able to set people up, set our loved ones up for that success is so powerful to have those experiences. And my grandparents were knowledgeable enough to be able to get a cabin for the family in South Lake Tahoe. Not a huge place, but a beautiful place, and it's ours. And being in the snow or during the summertime when it's crazy warm, we've got a place we can go to and we can hang out. And it means so much to me to see something already as be passed down from generation to generation to generation. And to see now that not only do we have this place, this other home that we can call our own, but now we're actually setting the little kids you see up there in the pictures. Those are all my little cousins. And we're able to set them up to give them the knowledge, to give them that freedom that we've all sought for, that we've all desired to have, if not for ourselves, definitely for our children. Nobody loves their children more than the next person, I'm sure. But we all want to see that success for them. And it is the most rewarding thing to know that we've been able to set all of these little kids up who are all a lot bigger now than when these pictures were taken, I'm realizing. But to be able to set them up to be in a position to do what they want to as they mature and grow through life, and know that a lot of those financial struggles that we've all had to go through, they're not going to need to, because A, we're going to give them the right education, and then B, we're gonna do our job, fulfill our responsibility as adults, and make sure that we get them started off on the right foot. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's very, very nice to see how we can actually not just talk about doing something, but actually implement it and make it work.
So one of the biggest concerns is that, our children's future. And most of the time I want to just say, like, being a mom of three, we're living paycheck to paycheck, and, trying to figure out things, how to save money, where to save money at. And I think for me and my own experience is I didn't know. And obviously I think, my father not knowing, it's like I breaking now that kind of changing our future and wanting our children's future to be much better. But because of the lack of information out there, sometimes that, parents don't know where to save. And we want to make sure that we do and are able to provide that information. So, and it's so going along with that is, knowing your options and really investing in our child's future, our children's future is important. And yeah, maybe it's for college, but I think most of us all want everyone to go to college, our kids to go to college. My son just got accepted to San Francisco State, and I'm super excited about that. He did get some scholarships, but at the end of the day, is that really enough? And but I also want him to have a better future. I want to be able to provide him with maybe putting a down payment on his home, or, if he needed to get a car when he graduates, or a business. So I actually, with the help of Sean, that we're able to provide and start him out with a retirement account that looks really good. And it's only the first one that he's getting right now, because we have to be real about the future and what retirement's going to look like for our future generation. It's not like it used to be. So I'm just really, happy and proud to be here to say, think about, when thinking of your children, right? Our children's future, we need to think of, past college and set up a life plan. And that's why I include all the information, and even maybe a wedding. You never know, right? And, how would you feel, if you were able to put your child in a position to buy a home in their 20s. And so that's why these plans are so important to start early on. I'm just proud and happy to be starting with my son at 18, but I'm also super proud of my daughter, Stephanie, and she does what I do as well, and she has 2 babies. So like I said, I'm a grandma. So we've started as well to help invest in their future. And I think that's where it's so important, because the longer you start saving, like time and money is the 2 factors in creating wealth. And, we're going to be able to create generational wealth for our family. And the other thing is encouraging to read books. And one of the books that I'm always studying, and actually I have my son reading that book too, is What Would the Rockefellers Do? Because that's going to help his future as well. So thank you. And looking into savings, right? I think savings is a habit we need to, exercise and practice more and more, and realize like there's things that you want to save for in short term. And then obviously there's the long term, but the most important thing is to create that savings habit early on, so that you're able to, obtain everything that you want to obtain, whether it's also travel, things that you like, creating your dreams and goals. You want to open up a business, whatever it is that you want to do, of course, like a home. Everybody's goals and different goals and dreams may be a little different, but the end goal is always happiness. And when you're savings, it's progress, right? You save little by little, whether it's short term and long term, and then progress equals happiness. So it's a good thing to start creating this habit.
Spot on. And thanks for sharing that part, Cynthia. And it's funny how many people don't even realize and think about the habits that we have. And it's probably because we don't talk about it. We just a lot of times we just do it. We just go through the motions. But we talk about the habit of savings. Well, how many of us have that habit of spending? Like, we get a couple of bucks, we get the paycheck, and then, let's go get this, and let's get to that, and let's go buy some of this over here. But we gotta talk to each other. We gotta think and actually plan out what we're doing. And once we go through and we actually create that habit of savings, not only does it allow us to spend, we can actually spend more and get cooler stuff because we've planned out our saving versus spending habits, as opposed to just kind of randomly going through the process. So when it comes to our children's future and how we can save and where we can save, there's 3 main places that people will save for their children. Because think about it, that's what everybody says. As soon as somebody's going to have a kid, which I'll put it out there publicly, I haven't posted on Facebook yet, but I will. I've got my son that'll be here somewhere early September. So really, really excited for that. And to be able to now go through and have very personally, gone through and planned some of these things out, it's hit me on a whole nother level. But as soon as people have a kid, their first thought is, I got to save for college. I got to get a college savings plan going. So what do we do to save for it? Where do we save? Most people are going to use 3 main places. They're going to put money in the bank, they're going to use a 529 plan, or a child's life plan. Now, with all of these plans, there's a couple of things we want to check off. So are we going to get this or are we not? So the first one being growth potential. Is there growth potential with where we put our money? Number 2 is no investment risk. We worked hard for our money. We want to save it and grow it for our children. We don't want to have it be at risk. We'd like to make sure we can keep it and not lose it. Number 3 is no contribution limits. Are we allowed to save as much as we want to? I would think we'd want to. Right? If we've got the ability to save $100 a week, let's save $100 a week. If somebody can save $1,000 a week, let's save $1,000 a week. Why not? And then what's going to go on with taxes? Are we going to have to pay taxes when we use that money, when we distribute it? And then when it comes to financial aid, well, shoot, we're all paying our taxes and everything. Don't we all want to get any financial aid that we can possibly get? Anything we can qualify for? Well, where we're saving the money, will it impact our financial aid or not? And then can we access that money for anything? Or are we limited? Did we put money someplace where, we can access it, but It's in this little box that can only be pulled out and put into this other box. And then lastly, but quite often most important, when people are really thinking long term, when we're really thinking about all the wealthy people that we hear about that have been good for generations, leaving that legacy. And will our savings strategy allow us to do that? So let's take a look at these. So number one, the bank, will it give us growth potential? No. If you're not sure about that, go to whoever you bank with and ask them or check your statement, something most of us don't do. Take a look at your statement and see what type of rate of return you're receiving in the bank. I bet you it's less than 1%. Now, is there an investment risk? No investment risk in the bank. You're not going to have to worry about losing money. If you have too much in there, you might not outpace inflation, but you're not going to lose it. You put $50 in there, it's still going to be there next week. Contribution limits. You're able to put in as much as you want into your bank account. Don't have to worry about it. You can contribute to your bank account as much as you would like to, or as much as your significant other would allow you to. Right? Now, your tax-free growth. That little bit of interest you make at the bank, you're going to have to pay taxes on that. So it doesn't take care of it there. Now, financial aid impact. The bank does not give us that protection from financial aid impact. If we have $50,000 sitting in the bank and the college sees it, guess what? You don't need financial aid. You got 50 grand sitting in the bank. You're good. Don't worry about it. Then access to money for anything. In the bank, yeah, you can pull that money out and you can use it for whatever you'd like to, no questions asked. Have that freedom there. But now how about leaving a legacy? Nothing we can do in that respect. Money in the bank's not going to grow enough. It's not going to compound and allow us to pass on a huge lump sum to future generations. Now, a 529, probably one of the most popular plans that people use to save for the children to go to college. So, number one, growth potential. Do we have growth potential there? Heck yes. We've got that ability for the money that we invest into our 529s to grow for us and turn into more, potentially exponentially more than we contributed. But now how about that investment risk? No investment risk? There's a big investment risk. Yes, the 529s can grow, but they can also drop. You can actually lose money in 529s. A lot of people don't realize that. They don't realize that a lot of 529 money is invested in the market, and that means it's at risk. So we've got to be mindful of how the policies that we're using are structured. Contribution limits. Depending on where you're at, it's state by state, but a lot of states will have contribution limits to how much you're allowed to contribute. If I want to save more for my child, shouldn't I be allowed to? Isn't it only fair that I save as much as I can? Because I've been working as much as I can, so I can make as much as I can. I want to save as much as I can. How about tax-free? Yes, if we use that money for college expenses. If the money is not used from a 529 for college expenses, guess what? You are highly, highly likely to get taxed and penalized for using those funds that you worked so hard to save up for your child. If it's not used for college funds, you are likely to get penalized and taxed heavily on it. Now, financial aid impact. 529s, you think, well, they're for college, right? It's a college savings plan. How would it impact financial aid? Guess what? It does. It's actually a good friend of mine and one of my business partners. His grandmother had saved up over $50,000 for him in his 529. And he's an incredible athlete. So when it came time for college, he had scholarships left and right. So he picks the college he wants to go to. He knows he's got his full ride scholarship, and he's going like, yes, I've got this 50 grand. And imagine how much y'all thought $50,000 were when we were in college. How much money did that feel like to us? And he's like, I'm gonna have a nice car. I'm gonna have the nicest apartment. I'm gonna have some fun, and it's gonna be great. And then he pulled up his statement and it said, college tuition minus 529 minus scholarship, zero balance. So wait a minute. What do you mean? I had a full scholarship. Well, that money in the 529 is slated specifically for college. So that's what it got used for. It got used for college. So that money, had it not been put there, had it been saved someplace else, he could have had that nice car. He could have had that nice apartment and had a little bit more fun. But that money went right to the college and nobody had any say so over it. That's just how it was structured. Again, you definitely don't have access to 529 money for anything. It's got to be used for college. Otherwise, again, those penalties and taxes. And leaving a legacy, not so much. Because the money's meant to be used for college. And when it's used for college, and we all know how expensive college is getting increasingly these days, it's used up. There's nothing left. There's nothing left to pass on any type of a legacy. So my biggest thing is, hey, make sure we understand how the plans that we're utilizing work. Now, a child's life plan, and we touched on this a little bit before with some of the other investment strategies, where do you have growth potential with it? Absolutely. Absolutely. A properly structured life plan is going to allow our money to grow and compound on compound, potentially a double-digit rate of returns. So it can grow more than 10%. Investment risk. We can eliminate that investment risk. We can actually utilize a growth strategy that allows your money to mirror the market, but not be in the market. So you don't have to worry about those losses. That's one of the times people say, well, is that too good to be true? How the heck is that possible? And then you realize, well, there's things like Ferraris and Lamborghinis and the Rolls Royces that I don't see advertisements for, but I know they exist. This is one of those things. No contribution limits. For the most part, there's no contribution limits, but that's only if it's structured properly. If the plan's not structured properly, you can't put as much as you want into it. So you do want to make sure that the plan is structured to allow you to make the contributions that you want to. Not just now, but you plan for the future. You give yourself that room so you can put a little bit more in down the road if you plan on being able to. Tax-free, yes. Your contributions here and your withdrawals are actually tax-free. You pay your taxes up front, the money can grow, and it can be withdrawn without having to worry about taxes. Financial aid impact. Does it have it? Does it give us this no financial aid impact? Yes, it does. There is not a financial aid impact. A properly structured plan, this does not have to be disclosed. Now, we're not telling somebody to lie or say something that they're supposed to say, but a lot of times people don't realize the things that are required to be disclosed and the things that are optional. We've all gone through and filled all those little forms online that say, well, you must fill this, and this out. And then there's always a couple more in there that they don't say you have to fill out, but you're so used to filling everything else out, you just go ahead and give them more information. And then you start getting extra phone calls from people. Well, guess what? Read that fine print. Understand what we do and don't have to disclose. That's the same stuff that wealthy people have been doing for generation after generation after generation to not just get ahead, but to stay ahead. Access to that money for anything. Absolutely. Absolutely. It can be used for college. But when we talk about that life plan and we say, hey, when does life really start for our kids? Does it start at the end of college? Or does it start at the beginning of college? Beginning of college, things are still done for them, right? Life isn't going to stop once they graduate. That's when it's really going to get going. That's when you're a college graduate. Cool. You're an adult. You know your stuff. You got your education on. Hey, now it's time for you to go out and make everything else happen. But why not set our kids up so that they have access to money to do whatever they want with it? Put them in a position just like the founder of Amazon. His family had funds, substantial funds, that they were able to work with him with or give to him so that he was able to invest in his dream, which is now making them infinitely wealthy. That's amazing. I want to do the same thing for my family. I want to see more people do that for their families. Let's give ourselves those options to be able to allow our money to work for us how we want it to work. Not how somebody else tells us it should work, how we want it to work. What if your kid doesn't go to college, but you saved all this money for him? What's going to happen? Guess what? Properly structured child life plan. Parents have access to it. You don't have to worry about it if your kid decides, you know what, thanks, mom, dad, appreciate it. I know you worked hard. I know you saved a lot, but you know what? I'm just going to go drive around the country. Bye. And they drive off. All good. Parents get to keep that money. You might miss your children, but guess what? You can go on a vacation. It'll make you feel a whole lot better. And then ideal situation, you actually get to pass this plan on to your child. They could continue to fund it if they have that desire to. And we can actually, again, continue that education and show them how that can actually pass on a legacy that can begin to span from one generation to the next. So there's a lot of options out there. These are really three of the main ones. But going through it and finding out, and please reach out to us, ask us. I don't want to take a whole lot of time to go into details about all the different structures, but I can tell you this: for the numbers that I've already run for my son, just with a few $100s a month, we're going to be able to make sure that by the time he's 18 years old, he'll have over 6 figures in there, and he'll be able to do whatever he wants with that. Start a business, take some time off if he needs to for something. Hey, pay for college if he needs to. If he didn't get the scholarship, whatever. And if he doesn't go to college, then guess what? Mom and dad are going to have that money, and we can do what we need to with it. What if he needs something extra and I don't want to pull from my account? I can pull from his. It's all good. I saved it for you anyway. No big deal. I'm not that mad. So a lot of great options out there. We definitely love to sit down and chat with you to share some more information with you about how these different plans can work and really see which one can be properly used for the proper purpose for each individual. The next thing we can do, and I know we talked about this a little bit before, but it's that education. It's about having that conversation. Talk with people about how money works. Talk with our kids. Talk with our youth about saving money. Talk with our kids about how taxes work and what they can do. Because if we put them in a position that before they receive that credit card when they're 18, that very first card, y'all remember getting that where you owed $200 or $300 on the $500 limit card before you even got the card in, right? Cynthia, I know you remember that one.
Yes, I remember. Totally for you.
Yeah, it's like, well, shoot, what happened? And that's just because they got wrapped up in the system. Nobody told them. Let's talk to our kids early. Let's teach them early. Put them in a position to win early. And then it can be as simple as talking about having a budget. And that's something we can help people out with as well. So when we sit down with our folks, we're saying, hey, where are you at? What are you working with? Where are you trying to go? What are your goals? Short-term, long-term, lifetime. Let's make sure we've got the proper stuff in place for that. If we have a budget, again, that savings habit allows our spending habits to be a whole lot better and a lot more enjoyable. Do we know when to spend, when to save? Or are we just kind of sitting there like, I'm not sure, I'm getting a headache, whatever. Blue button, I'm just going to spend it. And when we hit that blue button too many times and we end up with too much month for our money, it's not fun. And we see so many people get into that financial strife early in life because just no one talked to them. No one had the conversation. There weren't platforms like this that you could just say, hey, son, daughter, watch this for a couple minutes. It's going to bless your life. Understand that it can be as simple as a couple of mason jars with some tape in them. Hey, I'm saving for a house. I'm saving for a car. I'm saving for education. I'm saving because I want to travel. Whatever it is that we want to do, as long as we have that conversation, we plan things out, and we start saving somewhere, some kind of way for something, that can put us in a position to win. So thank you so much, everybody. Definitely appreciate the time. And Cynthia and I truly appreciate everybody coming out and listening, watching, sharing this information. Please do reach out to us. If you have any other questions, we would love to chat with you. Our services are complimentary, so I know don't worry about that as we go back into our communities. And also want to let everybody know that, hey, if you know someone else, if you or someone out there has that entrepreneurial spirit, if you want to make a couple extra dollars a month or need to make a couple extra dollars a month, or might like to learn a little bit more about financial services and how you can help your family and how you can go out and continue to help us reach out to the community. Because I know we don't know everyone that's on right now. We definitely don't know everyone that everyone's on that knows right now. So, hey, if there's somebody that you can introduce us to, or somebody that we can go talk to, or somebody that might like to learn this business, this industry, reach out to us. Give us.
All right. Thank you, community, for joining us tonight for this segment of Educational Thursday. Again, we want to apologize. The guest tonight that was supposed to come on was unable due to some of the connectivity issues that's been going on across this country with these cyber attacks. And they out on the road traveling. So we just hope them sisters have safe travels, and we'll get them back on our platform soon so that they can re-educate community about marketing and how to use marketing strategies to impact your business. So again, we apologize because this Thursday was supposed to be marketing. So we did a replay of Cynthia and Sean coming on to bless the community about financial literacy when it comes to investing in our young people. So we appreciate you all for tuning in, hanging in with us tonight. Even though we had those issues today, we'll be back to our normal programming this Sunday. So hopefully you all be able to join us as we'll be talking with our educators. How are they going to be helping prepare our communities and our young people to get back into the school system as we start making this transition? Should be a phenomenal conversation. And then on August 8th, we'll have the parents of the community to come on and talk about their concerns, as they'll be able to hear the educators. And as parents, we'll be able to have a conversation with the parents on August 8th. So looking forward to that conversation, as well as many more conversations that we're bringing here to both sides of the conversation. Again, be safe out there. This COVID virus is increasing. It's hitting our communities pretty heavy. So we just want people to go out and get vaccinated. We recommend you go out, get the vaccination. So at least if you do catch COVID, you'll be able to not deal with the hospitalization and some of the other effects that take place when you don't have the vaccination. So we're going to continue to do our work. We'll be out in the community. We'll be keeping you all updated. Please go to our social media handles at both sides of the conversation on all social media handles. We'll be putting out our flyers. Information will be out in the community. If you get a chance, check out our YouTube. We just uploaded the video from our Juneteenth festivities when we was out in the community at the Mega Black Juneteenth Festival at the Ferry Building in San Francisco. Go check it out. Shout out to my guy Silent Tunes for doing the work behind the scenes and making sure that this narrative that we're trying to help shift and we're talking about from our voices gets heard across this globe, not only in San Francisco, but across the globe. So shout out to Silent Tunes. Shout out to all of our sponsors who support us, Black to the Future, YCD, Collective Impact, 100% College Prep, and to all of the young people, our interns and our Both Sides of the Conversation team that's been doing the work behind the scenes, helping keep this thing moving. It is a challenge at times to do what we do, but they're committed, I'm committed, and we're going to keep doing our part to impact the community. Shout out to Commissioner Uncle Damien. Hopefully the brother's feeling better. I know he's been going through some things, so we just go keep him in our prayers, uplift him. And to my brother Corey Monroe, man, thanks for going out, blessing the community today, making sure those in need eats, the city eats, and all the organizations that are out there impacting our community positively. Just want to say thank you all. We will continue to do our part, and we'll continue to spread the information through the community here at Both Sides of the Conversation. So with that being said, I'm going to end tonight's segment. See you all this Sunday for our next live show, where we'll be talking with our educators as we prepare for our young people to go back to school. Hope to see you Sunday for that powerful conversation. Be safe out there, ladies. Be safe out there. Make sure you're not texting and walking. And when you go into the malls, be careful opening your trunks. As we know, these continued robberies and things that's been happening as people been targeting our women. Be safe out there. We'll see you all Sunday.